French territory where Carlos Bulosan once lived to tell the story of the rain-swept glory of Mike Jackson men who fight the destination we were destined to end. Left the writing on the wall in the halls of the Nippon Khan. Others transformed, majority Decepticons. But my conception of
the Wait for It Seattle podcast, episode 57. We got a jam-packed episode of special guests today. I'm Kevin. That's Brian.
Kev, what do you know about number 57 in Seattle sports
57.
history?
I know nothing.
Yeah, it's not a great number. I'm going to give you a quick rundown. We'll be quick, okay?
Yeah.
So Tyrone Rogers, defensive line, 1991 Huskies. Probably, it was good. I mean,
not the worst Tyrone in Husky history.
No, good point.
That's for sure.
Mariners, I went maybe Mark Lowe, pitcher. Not great. Seahawks, Tony Woods in the early 80s was decent. Cody Barton more recently.
Oh, there you go.
It's a pretty dirty number. So here's what I'm calling episode 57. I went a little deep cut and I said to myself, let's find somebody who was the 57th overall draft pick. And your starting third baseman for the Seattle Mariners, Ben Williamson. Number 57 overall.
Wow, that was pretty good.
Ben Williamson episode. Here we go.
Who I said would not be on the major league roster within 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think Ben has a special place in this podcast's hearts because he's persisted past us, and he had a huge hit in their 1-0 win the other day.
Let's be very clear. There have been guys that have been cut from this team that have been released, and he has not even been sent down yet. So Ben Williamson,
his defense is legitimately Gold Glove level. Like, it's really good. And part of it is he just hits the right field, which we've talked about this before. Sometimes you need more power. I think at third base, you want more power for this team to be good. But when you're in a 0-0 game, a double to right center was exactly what they needed in the Paul Skeens game, and he did it. So good week for Ben. All right, I have something to start off with. Okay, ready?
Yes.
I sent you this tweet. I want to read it. So it's sort of the social media MVP of the week. I have no idea who the Twitter account is, but it was a picture of an ice cream sandwich. And it said, the Tim Duncan of ice cream, one of the greatest to ever do it, dependable, crazy numbers, but nothing flashy about his game. So calling the regular ice cream sandwich, if everyone can visualize that, and this will work with our episode this week. We talk a lot about food. The Tim Duncan of ice cream, I thought was so great. So my question to you, Kev, is in Seattle sports history, who is the ice cream sandwich of Seattle sports history?
Edgar Martinez.
That's what I said. Okay, great.
Yeah, because it's like nothing flashy.
Yep.
Hall of Famer, consistent. You can play him in any era. He's going to be great. And he's like the nicest guy. And you could talk about Edgar Martinez with any Mariners fan.
Yep. Tim Duncan and Edgar are like great comps, right? All his highlights are like doubles to right center. Like there's no defensive highlights because he DH'd forever.
Yeah.
Nothing
great
flashy.
memories thrown in there, you know? It's great. He's not Edgar. Ken Griffey Jr. It's Edgar.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope. Griffey's the Choco Taco. All right. The greatest ice cream treat of all time. Don't get me started. All right, here we go, Kev. This is what we're going to do this week. We'll start with just headlines. We've done this before just to get some news out there and to talk about it. So the first one is this. 6 games left before break. Mariners are in a wild card spot. And second headline to go with it, 4 All-Stars.
Yeah.
It's not really a headline, but you get the point.
Yeah. So people thought it was just going to be 3 at first. Yep. So Cal Raleigh was the starter, was named earlier that week. Andres Munoz was one of the top closers, no surprise. And then Brian Wu has been statistically and eye test wise the best Mariners starter of the rotation.
Although what's crazy is Brian Wu has like a 2.78 ERA, which is like 11th in the American League.
Yeah.
So I thought there's a chance he doesn't make it. I was really excited Brian Wu made it.
And
but the real surprise,
Julio Rodriguez makes the All-Star team.
Yeah. So sad stat here. Ready for this one? I also said this to you. Rowdy Tellez, now a Texas Ranger, released by the Mariners, has a 683 OPS and 11 home runs this year. Julio, 695 OPS, 11 home runs, made the All-Star team.
Yes.
So
I did some deep thinking about this.
Oh, good.
I do think that Julio was a better defender than Rowdy, and I think that's kind of probably his calling card that puts him up in the advanced metrics and whatever. But yes, the point is well taken. Maybe this is his worst statistically deserving All-Star year, but not to say maybe he's not deserving. Maybe his defense makes up for it, but yes.
He's the best defensive center fielder in baseball now.
Yep.
He's
So,
awesome.
okay,
He's
so
awesome defensively.
you've just given me more evidence. I should have gone in a lot stronger with the defensive point, but
Sorry, Pete Crow Armstrong of the Cubs might be better. I think he probably is, but in the American League for sure. Julio is tied for 4th in Major League Baseball in defensive WAR. He's in the top 20. He's tied for 22nd with Chris Bubik, Framber Valdez, Michael Bush, who are, I know Chris Bubik's an all-star in terms of WAR overall. He's in the range of guys who are all-stars. And throw onto that, the American League, not great at outfield.
yeah.
The National League is stacked to the point that Juan Soto is not an all-star, and that's insane.
Yeah. So this also talk about the Major League All-Stars. I mean, I'm looking forward to the game. There's 4 Mariners in it, but honestly, July 14th, Tuesday, Cal Raleigh Home Run Derby. Like,
Oh yeah,
I'm sign me up for that.
I want Julio
viewing.
in it.
Yeah,
I want
that
Julio
would
in
be
it
great.
also, and
That'd
I want
be
them to
great.
go against each other. That's what I
that'd
want
be
to have
great.
happen.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, there's apparently I heard this on 710 this morning at Brock and Salk. Scott Service told Mike Salk last year, Julio needs to be in the home run derby because it fixes his swing for power. So when he does it, he starts lifting the ball more and it like gets him back on track. So every Mariner fan, whether that's true or not, should be rooting for Julio to be in the home run derby because we need more power from Julio. If, strikeouts are down, defense is elite, but we need more power for this team to be as good as it's going to be. Right.
Yeah.
I also want to make a shout out that if any outfielder gets hurt, Randy Arozarena should be in there. I know Joe Adell and George Springer have better numbers maybe and should be added. So Randy probably doesn't make it, but Randy's had quite a week. I think he had 5 home runs this week. He's so fun. He's, if for people who don't go to baseball games at T-Mobile, the infield, when they want to get rid of a ball, instead of throwing it to the umpire and giving it to the ball boy, throw it to left field, and then Randy throws it in the crowd. Like, Randy's awesome. He hugged a fan out there recently. He's just his gold chain. Like, Randy, I'm so happy he's on the Mariners.
I love it.
So shout out to Randy.
I love it.
All
Speaking of All-Stars,
Yeah.
WNBA All-Stars were named.
Yeah.
And Storm got 3. Storm got 3. Skylar Diggins.
Yep.
Gabby Williams and Nneka Ogwumike.
Yep. And Nneka's was named a starter. Skylar was pretty much a lock in terms of the guard spot. Gabby Williams was really nice. I've spoken about her very highly on this podcast. I think she's the best defender in the WNBA. Statistically, she's now filling it up in 3 categories at least, if not 4. It's awesome. There were some all-star snubs, but I think baseball had worse all-star snubs than WNBA. When I looked at who's a snub, nobody was saying Skylar or Gabby shouldn't be there, by the way, either. It was more like the Washington Mystics have 2 rookies who are kind of bigger names, like Sonia Cintron and Kiki Iriff. And so there's some speculation that maybe WNBA is naming people for the viewership. And I would say you're probably right.
Why not?
And that's probably part of the reason Julio's there. Although Julio was voted in by the players, but he's a name. Like, baseball should want Julio to come in the 6th inning and pinch it and play center field and mic him up, right? And
there's some grumpy baseball fan though, fan of like the Anaheim Angels, where they have some guy that's
Joe Adell
better than Julio, and they're like, why is Julio in the All-Star game? And we were once those fans, so I hear you. But guess what? You do not have Julio Rodriguez, and we do, and we get to enjoy the spoils of having a superstar.
100%. And if you live in like Kansas City, or you live in Pittsburgh, or you live in I want the fun players. I want Corbin Carroll in the All-Star game. Like, I want dudes who are fun to watch.
I love that they just use the discretion to like just add Clayton Kershaw to the game, right? Because he's a legend.
I think they did that.
They've done
Miguel
that before.
Cabrera and somebody else was that year.
Do it.
And you're right. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what the All-Star game is for.
Yeah.
Like,
don't be a grumpy old man about this stuff.
Yeah, and I think that this is why the MLB All-Star game is better part of it's the history. Better
Yeah.
than when I say better than the NBA All-Star game, better than the Pro Bowl, just because
Now,
it's
the Pro Bowl
just
doesn't even exist anymore, but yeah,
yeah,
I see your point.
yeah, it's just good.
Yeah. The MLB All-Star game. I might have said this on this podcast already, but Cal's a starter. I did when I gave my whole rant, and
Yeah.
it worked. Nice job, people. My aunt voted. We had a great family voting for Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
But him batting fourth or fifth, and he's gonna go back to back with Judge. Like, is that not appointment viewing? Like, you got to
Yeah.
watch the All-Star game.
Yep.
Every Seattle fan should be watching that. Aaron Judge is awesome. Cal back to back. That's amazing. I want to talk more about the Mariners and the Storm in a little bit. I'm going to save it for you though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounders really crabby ending.
Yeah.
Did you see the highlights? Did you see?
So I was listening on the radio. Stefan Frei left in an ambulance in a 1-1 tie with Columbus. He's tweeted already. I think he's at home resting. It's probably a concussion, bad concussion. I'm not diagnosing, obviously. He took a knee to the head on a corner at the end of the game, or a cross in. I think it was off a free kick. And there was like very little time left, and everybody did the right thing. The Columbus coach said, let's just call it. Like, the players were shook. I think he got knocked out completely.
Yeah.
And Stefan Frei is, I mean, he's probably the second best goalie in MLS history. So we're talking about a legend, not just in Seattle, but in the league. It was cool to see the amount of MLS people and US soccer people who were like reaching out via social media and saying, they're thinking about him and whatever. Stefan Frei has a big pull. I think any player it would happen to, but because Stefan Frei is such a big name, I think it was a bigger one.
Well,
So
get well.
it was a good tie for the Columbus is really good. Sounders are still, they're fifth in the West. Yeah, they're fifth in the West. We got a long time till the playoffs, but they're in the mix. They played okay. And hopefully Frei comes back. The good news is Sounders have a really good backup. So if he can't come back for a few weeks, I think the Sounders should be okay. But that was crazy. All right, one more headline.
MLB Draft.
Yeah, I wrote about this today, Kev.
Yeah, I just opened up my
Have you read it yet?
Yeah, I started. Yeah.
Okay.
It's got good stuff in there.
So this is crazy. Like, I don't know how many people know this, even who listen to our podcast, because the MLB Draft, I don't know. I think my son Felix, who's 12, said this best. He's like, Dad, it's just hard to get excited about the MLB Draft. He's like, the NFL and NBA, it's like they play all the way. He's like Cooper Flagg. This is what he said to me. Cooper Flagg, like, that's going to be awesome. He's going to play for the Mavericks, and you're going to watch him. He's like, when are we going to see these guys in MLB? I'm like, it's a great point.
Yeah.
Right? Colt Emerson. Oh, we're so excited. He's in single A. Like, how long do we have to wait?
Yeah.
So that's the hard part.
Well, the other thing is, too, there's not a lot of exposure to these guys either.
Totally.
So
and there's a little bit
more.
Well, maybe I'll speak for myself.
As much.
No. I watch way more college basketball and college football.
High school basketball too. Yeah.
Yep. But I have started to pay attention more to College World Series and but you're right. Like, one of the guys they're looking at is a high school pitcher in Florida. Like, I've never seen him pitch, obviously. So the Mariners, this is the crazy part. And I wrote about this, so you should go read it, Seatown Sports on Substack. The Mariners had a 0.5% chance of getting a lottery pick when they did the lottery in December. And MLB switched to this a few years ago, and it's awesome. It makes it way more exciting. So the Marlins and the Nationals, I think, had 22% chance or something like that. And the Mariners had 0.5, and a lottery pick in MLB is top 5. And they got the 3rd overall pick. Let's is go. Like the Mavericks. There's no Cooper Flagg in this draft.
Yeah.
But they got the 3rd overall pick. And for a team that has 9 top 100 prospects currently, most in baseball, and has a wild card spot, I just need all the Mariner fans who are grumpy all the time to just realize that things are okay. Are we going to win the World Series this year? I mean, probably not, but it could be a lot worse. And DePoto's really good at drafting. So having the 3rd pick should be exciting. The draft is this weekend. You should tune in. I highlighted 5 people the Mariners might draft. There are 3 left-handed pitchers who throw gas, all college, all 21 years old. There's a college hitter from Oregon State, and then there's a high school pitcher who everyone seems excited about. So if you want to know more about the names, you got to read the article on C-Town Sports. But Kev, who would you want the Mariners to take?
Oh man.
Like,
I
do you want a lefty?
I want a pitcher. I want a
Starter?
pitcher
Okay.
because Depoto's so good at
Right.
drafting or developing pitchers that
Listen to this. First round, back to back to back years. Ready?
yeah,
Gilbert, Kirby, Hancock, first round picks.
yeah. Even
Right?
Hancock, even though he's not reached ace level, like still a good pick. He made
He's
it
a
to the
fifth
majors.
he's a fifth
Yeah.
starter, right? In the major
Yep.
leagues.
Yep.
And how many first round pitchers don't ever do anything?
Yep.
Gilbert and Kirby have been all-stars.
Yep.
Like, what are we doing? This is insane. Not to mention they've drafted Bryce Miller, they've drafted Brian Wu. Like,
Yep.
Logan Evans was drafted just a few years ago in like the 13th round or something, or 22nd round, and he's our fifth starter currently. The Mariners, yeah. So do you want the high school pitcher or do you want one of the college lefties?
I always prefer guys that played in college, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not basing it on anything. Like I
They're
don't have a
ready. Like,
preference,
all
yeah.
three of these dudes, especially the guy from LSU, could be in the majors.
So
I mean, some people say next year.
to Felix's point, this is the cool thing is
Yeah.
if you get a guy from college, it's a little more fast tracked. Like
Especially pitchers, right? So
Yep.
here's the example from this last weekend. Paul Skeens, best
Yep.
pitcher in the National League. Absolutely sick. Paul Skeens, just to honor Felix, I'm going to give you the stat. 1 win in the last 13 starts. He has a 1.72 ERA in that time.
yeah, insane.
That's stupid. Paul Skeens is nasty. He was in college a year and a half ago,
Yep.
right? So this could be like that. If you've got Gilbert, Kirby, Castillo, all three of those guys are maybes long-term here. Fair to say.
Yep.
I mean, Gilbert and Kirby have years left. So, but Castillo, who knows? And Bryce Miller, who knows, right? So, what if you get a lefty, which they don't have, who throws 97? I mean,
Fire me up.
I know.
You're pumped for the MLB
I know.
draft.
I
Yeah.
am. So now that I've previewed it, and there's also 2 high schoolers who I didn't preview, which means they'll take one of them. I'm pumped to see who they take first because I feel like I know a little bit now. And you can too if you read
ctownsports.com.
Okay.
The article's there.
That was our last headline.
This or that. I mean, I fed you some segments this week.
Yeah, you like your
this, like that, like this, and okay.
Oh, okay, Kev.
Okay. Randy Arozarena or Julio Rodriguez. I think I know your answer here. Although you've shouted out both of these guys.
So the problem with a game like this or that is there's no rules. So you just say Randy or Julio. I'm Julio. So
yeah.
God, Randy's so fun. But Randy, when he's not going,
like the end of last season, I
Yeah.
can flip you. You were really down on him.
Randy has some stretches that are frustrating. He
Yeah.
has some erratic swings and misses. Julio swings and misses a lot right now too, but Julio's defense is so good. And Julio's just, I don't know. You can't. People need to stop giving up on Julio. He's 24. Randy's 30. Julio's 24.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Where are you, Randy or Julio?
Julio.
Yeah.
He's so young that he's so much ahead of him. Like,
No.
I think he's a premier player, and when he's an all-star in a down year, like probably his worst first half start, like we're in a good position. He's gonna turn it around. He's fine.
I mean, they're both playing borderline all-star quality.
Yeah.
Julio is an all-star. Randy's got a little bit better numbers because he had a huge week. That's great.
Yep.
Right? You need Randy, you need Julio, you need Cal. Like, that's good for the team is to have these 3 guys. And then hopefully they go add somebody.
Okay. Can I ask you this when I'm changing the next one?
Oh.
I'm changing the next one and I'm going straight at you. So
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm sure.
All right. DeMond Williams or Hans Steinbach,
Okay, this is easy for me.
silver medalist for Germany.
Okay, I have things to say about Hans. If you would, okay, first I'll answer DeMond Williams. I'm really excited about DeMond Williams.
Okay.
Okay. I think I've said this before, but like running quarterbacks I mean, I think he's going to be electric to watch.
Yeah.
It's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah.
Hans is good. I watched the gold medal match against the US. People are a little too excited about Hans. Okay. His
Yeah.
numbers were
Calm me
ins-
down a little bit.
so his
Calm me
numbers
down.
were insane.
Yeah.
And if you watch the right viral clip, they'll show him guarding AJ DeBansa, who is going to be the number one pick, and blocking him. They'll show the dunk in transition. I watched Hans try to post up the USA, some big, strong players struggle a little bit. I saw Hans look a little lost against good defense in terms of like he didn't shoot the three, he was wide open. I think he can, right? What Hans can do is he will rebound in traffic, which is a college level skill that is important. He's playing against the US U19. So he's playing against dudes who are either going to be
5-star
drafted.
recruits.
They're going to be
Yeah.
drafted this year or the next year, right?
Yeah.
And he's good.
He's being projected, Brian, as a top
I know.
20 pick.
I know. And he might well get there.
Yeah.
I'm slowing down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he's going to come off the bench to start. He'll play minutes, and he probably will be really good by the end of the year.
I
Like,
think
really,
he's starting
really good.
at the end of the season. I think
I
he's
could see
starting
that.
at the end of the season. I think Mandiquit could be pushing for a starting spot at the end of the season too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you said Demond or JJ Mandiquit,
You might have picked Mandiquit.
I might have walked off the podcast. I can't pick. I talked about it last week. You've clipped it, or
Yeah.
AI clipped it for us. JJ Mandiquit is a dude.
He played well in that gold medal match.
It's a 6 or 8 point game. He hits a three, and then he gets a steal
steal.
on the inbound, passes to someone for a dunk, I think, or a layup.
+5 swing in 10 seconds.
And it's just, he's scrappy. His head's up. He picks up guys at half court. I think he's okay on ball screen defense, but he's willing. He gets out and guards. They had him going over the screen, and I don't know what the guy guarding the screener was trying to do against Germany. So I'm not sure if JJ was doing well or not on that. It's hard to tell.
I
Man,
think
his eyes are up in transition.
Yeah.
And the way I read the Seattle Times article about Sprinkle wanting to run and then watching Hans in transition, I'm geeking out about Husky basketball.
Yeah.
So I have women's season tickets. I'm thinking about doing the double, and my wife will divorce me, but I might do it.
I mean, anything for Steinbach and Mandiquit. I'm excited. It's July 7th.
Yeah. I have one more this or that for you that's not on the show sheet.
Come to me.
It's related to what we talked about earlier. So we got 3 All-Stars for the Storm, 4 for the Mariners.
Yep.
The Storm beat the Liberty this week on the road. No John Quell Jones for the Liberty, but they had Brianna Stewart,
and they had Sabrina.
Sabrina was good. Brianna was not. The Storm beat someone right before that who was decent too. Oh, Atlanta Dream. That was a good game. Skylar had the game-winning layup. Atlanta Dream are a really good team too. Both on the road. The Mariners swept the Pirates. First time in franchise history that they've shut out a team 3 times in a row. Also, fun fact, Pirates, first team in Major League Baseball history
to be shut out
after sweeping an entire series where they shut the team out. So the Pirates shut out the Cardinals in 3 games and then turned around and got shut out in 3 games. What a roller coaster for Pirate fans. Okay. Mariners playing better. They're in a wild card spot. Storm are top 4 in the WNBA. Who is a better championship contender, Storm or Mariners?
The Storm.
Oh.
Yeah. I think the Storm, first of all, there's less teams.
Fair.
Second of all, the Storm have proven they can beat the top teams in the league.
Which is different than last year, right?
Yeah.
This is a big thing for them.
They can lose to the Valkyries, though, 2 times.
They cannot beat the Valkyries, and they play them coming up again.
And with the Mariners, it's just there's so much chance involved, and the weaknesses are apparent, and I don't think there's an immediate way to just fix the Mariners at the trade deadline, as Patrick Leary wrote about on
CTsports.com.
Yeah. You're always high on the Mariners. I need to bring you back a little bit.
Kev, they have pitching.
Yeah, they do have. They've had pitching the past 5 years.
Not past 5, but pitching if you get in. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, your answer's probably the correct answer, right? So the Storm, my critique, I think I talked about this or wrote about it at the beginning of the year. They were something awful against the top 4 teams last year. This year, the Storm have beaten the Mercury twice. They've beaten the Aces twice. I get that they're not at the top of the league. the Lynx are there. I think one of their two losses is the Storm, and they beat the Liberty twice, and they beat the Dream. So they're beating good teams. The Storm now play Connecticut twice, the Mystics, the Valkyries, who they'll lose to, the Wings, the Sky, the Mystics again, the Sun, the Sparks. That's their next games. So aside from the Valkyries, they could win 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They could go 8-1 in their next 9 games. Of course, basketball doesn't always work that way.
Yeah.
But even if they go 7-2 or 6-3, right? They've proven they could beat good teams. They could be, I don't know, second in the WNBA soon.
We'll see.
I'm going to the game on Sunday.
Okay, there you go.
Not against the Valkyries. I would absolutely not go watch them lose to the Valkyries.
Yeah. Our penultimate segment grinds my gears.
Yeah, this is your favorite.
Yeah, you were at the Mariners game.
Oh, this grinds my gears every time at a Mariners game.
You're not alone, right?
Here's the thing about the Wave, Kev. The Wave is terrible to begin with.
Yeah.
It's not as terrible as a football game, which people don't really do it at football games. People get bored at baseball games because they don't watch the game, which already grinds my gears because I want everyone to be watching the game at a baseball game. Even though we're going to talk later about how many concessions I ate this week. People do the Wave in like the 8th inning in a tight spot when we're pitching. It's the worst time to do the Wave.
Yeah.
Start the Wave when the other team's pitching and we have men on base. Like, get it loud and rowdy. Great. But when Eduardo Bazardo's trying to get out of a jam, let's not make it harder for him.
Yeah.
So that grinds my gears.
By the way, my favorite party trick at sporting events is that telling the person next to me, you know where the Wave was started? Husky Stadium. And then they look it up on Wikipedia and they find out that there's all these different claims of where the Wave was started.
There's just 2.
Yeah.
Husky Stadium or the Oakland Coliseum.
Yeah. Well, I read that Mexico City or somewhere. And
that's new. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to do like a law review article on this because it.
Please do.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, Malonga's playing time, number 2. I looked it up. Yeah. She's playing like 2 to 20 minutes, more so like maybe like the 5 to 10 minute range.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing from the games I've watched, they usually come near the end of the quarters, which is a trick to kind of get extended rest for your starters.
Yep.
I'm
Do you care about this? Are you mad about this? Do you care like I care?
I didn't write the op-ed about it a month ago, so no, not as much as you do, but I do care about it.
Kev, what if I told you that against the New York Liberty, one of the best teams in the league,
she played 2 minutes?
No, that she had 11 points and 8 rebounds.
Oh, in 10 minutes?
In 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So does that make you think that the Storm coaching staff is crazy?
Yeah.
And I watched the game. She didn't turn the game herself, but she was part of the run in the third quarter that made it a 20-point game. She changed the dynamic. And I saw someone tweet, what a genius coaching move to sit her out in the first half and to have different strategy in the second half and play her. No, that's not genius. I'm very frustrated by this. I don't understand why she can't play more. The only caveat I'll say is that Diggins and NECA referenced at a press conference the game before the Liberty game, the Dream game, she was not ready to play. Like the veterans had to call her out. Like, you're not ready. And I could totally see that with a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's games where she's just not mentally there yet. She's young.
Yeah.
But her production is insane in the minutes she's getting. Maybe she'd have turnovers and it wouldn't be as good if she played longer.
Yeah.
So maybe I should give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, you're not the coach. You're just a person watching. So you.
But I've coached basketball. I've coached basketball.
Oh, here we go.
It's like is that like a Geico commercial? I stayed at Holiday Inn Express last night. That's what it was. But I did coach a high school basketball team once. All right.
Yeah.
That grinds my gears still.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'm going to stay on it. And you know what? The readership for that post proves I'm not alone.
No, definitely not. We even had a longtime reader, Michael Phillips, just comment, right on, spot on.
Yeah, that's big coming from him, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this one's going to grind your gears. Did you look at the list I sent you? You probably didn't.
I glanced at it.
I sent you a tweet. The Athletic ranked college football rivalries. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Now
Michigan, Ohio State's number 1.
Easy.
Auburn, Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas, Army, Navy. Those are all really, really good. Okay. I'm going to scroll down the list. Washington and Oregon is 21st on the list.
Yeah.
That has got to grind your gears. Look at that list. Tell me
it
doesn't grind your gears.
Well, here are the ones that I think easily they surpass or are above this.
Okay.
Above them. Harvard, Yale, Kansas, Missouri, Michigan, Notre Dame. No, that's not.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like 500 years ago.
Yep.
Maybe Texas A&M. I can imagine that being.
Yeah, I think that could be.
Not
USC, UCLA.
That's a joke. No, get out of here.
That is a joke. Nobody goes to the games.
Yeah.
Washington and Oregon. This is such a middle of the country or East Coast bias. People don't understand. People hate each other at Washington, Oregon games.
Yeah.
It's probably not what you see at Oklahoma and Texas or Michigan, Ohio State, because they care about football more. That's the reality.
Yep.
Or West Coast, I get it. But for the West Coast, Washington, Oregon's as good as you get. It's awesome. People at Oregon, the most common t-shirt I saw that was deeply offensive, but also true, was they'd wear shirts that say Ted Bundy is a Husky.
Yeah.
And that's a big one in Oregon. And it's 100% true. Ted Bundy did go to the University of Washington, but it's a deep one. That's tough.
Pretty brutal.
It's brutal, right? And it's that kind of stuff that you see. People hate each other. They hate each other in this rivalry, and the players feel it. I think the transfer portal era makes it harder sometimes. Maybe it's harder in Washington State, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that. Like, they didn't feel the rivalry quite as much. Washington, Oregon's real.
Yep.
It's real. So that had to grind your gears.
It does. Man.
You okay though? You all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. And I'm gonna feel definitely okay after this next segment with our longtime listener and reader Jim Pullin joining us and Brian to go over the top 5 foods at T-Mobile Park. That's coming up next.
All right, top 5 this week's a little different, and we have a special guest. We reference this man many times on the podcast.
He's like our benefactor, like kind of like, but he's not like, he doesn't sponsor this, but I feel like he does.
Yeah.
He is just.
Who says I don't sponsor it?
Yeah,
I should sponsor it.
I've
never been asked.
Jim Pullin is here. Jim is my cousin. That's what I call him. My cousin-in-law, I guess, technically, but he's my cousin. And Jim is awesome. And we spend a lot of time together as family, but also people need to know, and Jim hates it when I do this, but this man is a 3-time national champion swimmer at the University of Texas. So we're not just bringing on just a random guy.
Yeah.
This man was very close, we like to say, to making it to the Olympics. Doesn't matter how close or how far. He was in races that would have got him to the Olympics. That's how good of a swimmer he was. If we had a different podcast, which I'm sure we'll have him on some other time, we'll have him tell us some stories about when people want to race him in swimming as adults. They're hilarious because they're I swam in high school, and then he just absolutely obliterates them. It's the best.
Wait, since we have him on, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Does UT still have swimming? Men's swimming?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, number 2. Would you consider being like their NIL whale under the radar?
It's awesome.
I'm very excited to be here. Long-time listener, first-time blogger. It's my first time on.
Yes.
You guys are going so fast. I already have like 20 comments. I usually say only 3-time NCAA Division I national champion. Okay. Brian, maybe you could try to work that only in there.
Only in, yeah.
And I don't know. I'm very excited about all the NIL stuff, and I was recruited to swim my specific events, but I don't know that too many. I would need a good agent to get some big money in swimming. NIL.
So, he does have some. We will not share him today, but there's some great recruiting stories too. You think? Kev, when you think of
limited to football, it's not. Right?
No, not in Texas, not at Tennessee, not at.
I got lots of stories.
Stanford, probably, right? Like there are places. Tennessee and Texas, I think, were they your final 2?
We could do an entire segment if you wanted to about college recruiting.
This is so great. Yeah,
I was a non-revenue sport and I have stories.
And I feel like the statute of limitations has passed. There's like
expired.
New coaches. There's a whole new administration. There's no bridges to burn.
Yep.
They've already been dissolved. So, damn, we're blessed to have
We're
you
teasing
on.
it. We're teasing it.
Let's just get into it.
Jim is not here for that today. Jim is here for a top 5. Has nothing to do with swimming. Although maybe we'll do an Olympics preview in 3 years or something. We're having Jim on because we go to a lot of sporting events together. We've been to Sounders, Mariners, you name it. We've been to, I think. We're working next fall, Kev. We talked about this Sailgate for the Huskies. Jim says it's happening, so you got to come.
Ohio State,
that's what I said.
27th.
That's what I said.
What Brian said when he brought it up, and I was like, probably any game but Ohio State. And Brian was like, specifically Ohio State, and I was like, oh, okay, I am from Ohio.
Everything will be $500 more. Like whatever you have to pay will just be more expensive.
We might just be sailgating on that day, not going to the game.
We can do that too.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
But Jim and I went to 2 Mariners games this weekend, back to back. We went to Thursday night against the Royals, victory, fireworks. We then followed up the next day, afternoon game, 4th of July. Great seats provided by Jim.
Why is Kevin shaking his head?
No, I'm shaking my head because that's such a long time with you, Brian. Like, I don't think I could do it.
Wow. Anyway, Jim, who provided us the seats on Saturday?
There were other people there too, Kevin, which helped temper it. And we went back to back, and we're going to even more. And I think earlier this summer, someone set a goal for how many sporting events we go to together. Because we have 2 more baseball games planned, Brian and I together. And we went 2 back to back. And the second day was courtesy. Thank you very much. North City Law, Paul Barrera.
Okay.
He just opened his second location, attorney at law.
Nice.
Esquire Barrera just opened his second location.
Do we know what type of law?
He does all types of law. It's a private practice.
Great.
I think he might specialize in family and estates, but he's done lots of matters for me and clients of mine and friends of mine and family of mine.
I'm sending him my referrals because I always get asked for Seattle attorneys, and I'm like, there's one name to add to the book. So
let me tell you, Paul was great. It was a great time. It was awesome at the seats. He was wonderful. I would refer him. I know nothing about his abilities as a lawyer, but Jim speaks highly of him. Jim also, great real estate agent in case you need real estate needs, Jim Pullin. All right, now that we've done our official sponsors for the first time ever, Kevin always says every week, he's like, we got to get money so that Brian can go to games.
No, we don't.
We're at the end of the show.
Yeah.
We're at the end of the show. Top 5's end of the show.
Okay, but I also, before we get kicked off, since you were trying to kick us off after like 10 minutes of, stuff in the beginning, Seatown Sports, let's go. Wait for it, Seattle. Come on, I'm so excited.
Yeah, SeatownSports.com. I love it, man. I love it.
Yes.
Dude, we're going to clip that, and that's going to be the start of every episode now.
I need some paraphernalia.
He wants some merchandise. Jim wants merchandise.
Yeah. T-shirts are coming, man. I put in the I put in the request.
Great.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, they're coming.
All right. So Jim and I went to games, and Jim is a loyal listener and reader, and he said we got to try these concessions that you talked about in your podcast and rate them. So we're gonna do a top 5. Most of this top 5 are things that are new this year. I would say these are all new-ish because we're gonna have one exception that I think might win for both of us. So we're gonna start from 5, go to 1. Jim, what's your 5th? If you had to pick a top 5, the stuff we ate a lot
of the new things. The corn dog, the blue corn dog.
Yeah,
was 5th.
Yes, it's not great.
And I didn't make the list because I think there's more than 5, but that would be last for me.
Yeah.
Does it turn your tongue blue like a blue? Yes, it does.
Well, we didn't. Kind of weird. We didn't.
I don't know. So the blue is Takis, like the chips, right? And then there's a layer of cheese that the Takis stick to, nacho cheese, on a corn dog. So some that can sound gross to some people. Some people that's like, that sounds great. Like that's a unhealthy snack, but I'm in it. The corn dog inside, maybe it's the one we got. It was just really average. Like none of us really liked it. And my sister and my wife were also there trying these things out. and all of us were kind of in the same place. Like, not so much.
Coming from a guy who loves hot dogs, corn dogs are fine. I like hot dogs. I'm as big of a fan of hot dogs as you'll find in an adult. I
Joey
love
Chestnut.
cheese.
Yep.
And for me to be lower than mid on, it was a disappointment for sure.
Totally. It's great. Great
Number
summary.
5.
I don't think it's coming back next year. Great review.
I don't
It
know.
wasn't spicy at all. The reviews
Yeah,
said
it
it was
wasn't.
supposed to be spicy. Ours, for me, had 0 spice.
Really, so it's
think
just blue cheese.
Yeah, but it wasn't blue cheese.
Blue cheese.
Yeah. The only redeeming quality is, wasn't it like $9.99? So it's like decently priced.
Really? I think that's a lot for what it was. It was cold. It didn't help that.
Yeah, it was cold. That was what was weird.
Oh,
so
no.
maybe if we got one right off the grill, it would have been better. But like,
bad news.
melty cheese warm would have been good. Anyway, all right. Number 4.
What's number 4?
What do you got, Jim?
Well, I start to struggle because I liked everything else.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
So I'd probably put number 4, the curry,
Ooh.
which was delicious.
Yeah, maybe we do have more than 5. So I'm gonna tie 4 for me. Yeah, I'll go curry. I'm gonna agree with you. So they have a curry that people have been talking about, like you got to try it. I'll tell you, the experience ordering for me was great. They were very efficient, very good. I liked whatever they were sprinkling on the curry. I didn't know what it was, but I'm like, this is great.
Was it Indian curry or Thai curry?
Or who you're talking to. And I wonder if we know the answer to that.
I don't think we know the answer. I don't know.
You guys aren't brown enough to know the answer. You just generic curry.
It had I don't even know what the name of the place was, which is terrible. But it was, I think it was Indian curry.
Yeah.
It was good. Like, it was really solid.
We had it the second time of the 2 back-to-back games. We did the curry the second day, not the first day. And it didn't make the original list the first day because both of us mapped out what we wanted to have and when and where.
I like this. It's like planning for Disneyland. You guys
Oh, yeah.
did a
We
good
totally
job.
planned it out.
Yes.
We didn't have it the first day because the temperature. It was warm outside.
Yeah.
And it was also warm. The first day was the night game. Second day was the daytime game. It was also warm the next day. And it was awesome. It was really, really, really good. And it made me disappointed that we hadn't had it also the day before. We're doing that number 4. So it's only going to get better.
So here's what's weird. It's through Tamari Bar, and Tamari Bar is technically Japanese.
It's a Japanese curry.
I think it might be. Yeah.
Yeah. That checks out.
Yeah, it was good. And they added shrimp katsu sticks, which I want to try as well. I didn't try it, but the curry was good. All right. Number 3. I have a tie for 3, I think. So the Ichi wings were real solid. Peach habanero Ichi wings.
Sounds spicy.
They were spicier than the blue corn dog.
Yeah.
But they weren't especially spicy. And I think I'm more sensitive than Jim.
Yeah.
To spice, and I was like, nah, they're fine.
On the sweat index.
I wasn't sweating.
So like 3.
I picked up low spice from them, 1 to 10. It was like a 1, more spice than from the alleged spicy blue corn dog.
So I'm scared of any time it says habanero. I'm like scared. I'm like, that's
Oh
good.
yeah, I thought
but
it was
when
a
you
1 out of 10.
Yeah, I think when you add the peach to it, it dulls the habanero a little bit, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But the wings were decent, don't you think, Jim?
Yeah, the wings were good. I also would consider myself a pretty big wings fan, and I went into it with modest expectations because it's ballpark food, and I thought they were really good. I think maybe an important note on the wings were Brian got them from the walk-off, whatever they call
Market,
it, cafe, walk-off market.
Oh, you just walk right in.
Yeah, you walk in hands-free. You can either scan with your palm or just put your credit card in, and then there's no checkout or anything. You just grab whatever you grab and then walk out. And this is on my list at least, and I did tell Brian I wanted to mention it because it's so unique. It's based on Amazon technology, and it is in arenas and stadiums across America. Not many, largely on the West Coast, but I looked like Kansas City, I think, has one.
I mean,
Yeah,
You can either
Climate
palm.
Pledge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, all on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And then you just walk right through,
Yeah.
and it's really quick. And the wings came from, they stock the walkout market with more than just drinks. they stock it with food, and it's so convenient that you literally just breeze on through and you're back to the action, and it's awesome. And so they weren't like prepared right in front of him, and they were still pretty good. They were hot, they were delicious, they weren't spicy, which I prefer spicy wings, and they were, I would get them. I could have done more that day.
Yeah, I could have too. Yeah, the wings were good.
How many wings does it come with? There's people that listen to this kind of stuff, and they're gonna base their next game on this.
I think there was like 6 to 8. I want to say 8 because we all shared it and we each had.
By the time they got to me, some had been eaten. So when I was counting, I couldn't because the bones were kept in a separate. And I was like, well, okay. Yeah. And I think 6 to 8 is probably right.
Yeah. I agree with Jim. The walk-off markets have revolutionized my stadium experience at all Seattle places. I told him when I went to Wrigley Field, you could order ahead concessions, and I thought that was pretty awesome. So you on your phone order it and just go pick it up, which is great. But I think the walk-off's even better because there are people who are always confused, and it's really fun to watch them.
Oh yeah.
So it's fun to watch people going in being like, what do I do? And you just like walk by them. And then when you're in there, they don't know whether to walk out, and you just walk out past them. And so there's people like waiting in line in there. I'm like, what are you waiting in line for? You just grab stuff and go. It's awesome.
So I love it for a less mean-spirited reason that I just want to have a lot of things, and I have 2 hands, and I hate the move where you have to get the wallet out to pay for things, right?
Yeah.
Like this way you can be the dude that brings back 4 beers. Like you can do it for beers too. I think
you can't take 4, but
yeah.
They limit you at 2, unfortunately. But yes.
How do you know that, Brian?
I don't know, but I think Jim really appreciates you talking about carrying a lot of food out. That's a Jim. That's a Jim move.
So some notes. They are all across America. They're in Whole Foods markets everywhere.
Yes, right across.
A bunch of schools have it. These walk-off markets, and frequently when I go to games, almost always I'm with someone, and many times they might be buying me a drink, I might be buying them a drink, and you can go in with other people, but you have to watch your hands because everyone's used to like it's in a cooler, right? You just open the refrigerator door and grab it. And if you got to watch what you grab, because if Brian, for example, actually it probably would work if you scan the credit card more than once. I don't always scan the credit card
I see what
more
you're saying.
than once.
If you're not the one who scans.
Yeah, don't grab it. I'm always like, don't grab it, or I'll grab it, or you grab it. And then the other thing that is an annoyance to me is I don't do the palm one because I might take clients to like, I don't know, half the events I go to. So I'll put it on a business credit card versus when I'm with Brian, I'll put it on a personal credit card, and you can only tie the palm to one credit card. I'm not going to be switching it every single event I go to, especially when I do double headers, which I've only done once so far this season. But Brian and I are going to do one later this season. Let's go see town. Wait for it. Sports.
Jim, I thought you were going to tell us that you were worried about Amazon having your palm print, but that's not.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
I do believe in privacy. We can get into that another time, but
that's a different podcast.
You're okay with
everyone already has that already. So
okay, my tie for third is wings with that sumo dog.
Yeah.
The
sumo dog place, which I had a different time. I think it's new this year.
It is new this year.
And we had one also, and I thought it was pretty good. I don't know. What did you think, Jim?
Yeah, so it's called the Godzilla.
Okay.
The one that we got. Yep. They do have a menu, and I tried to pull up the menu because let's see here. I got the Godzilla at the first game that we went to for this bit, and I've been there 3 or 4 times. It's near seats that I prefer to sit in. And I don't know why I'm a big believer in the value dogs there. You can get like 2 value dogs for the price of, I don't know what else, probably the wings or something
Everything
like that.
Else, yep.
And at that one particular stand, they have all the hot dogs, including, what did you call it?
Sumo dog? I think it's the name of the place.
That might be the name of the place, sure. Yeah. I don't know why anyone goes there and doesn't get the Godzilla. It's a foot long. It has all the stuff. It's absolutely worth it. It is drenched in spicy, Kev.
Yeah.
And it's not spicy.
Okay.
It's not spicy. I give it like a 4. I would give
That's
it
like
a 3
an 8
or 4.
to you, Kev.
It's like the Mariners offense playing at Safeco Field. Like it looks really good on paper, but then they play at Safeco Field and it's not spicy at all. Okay.
They give you a fork and knife in it, so you don't have to go to the concession stand, behind you and with your napkins and get the fork and knife, because it is much easier to eat with a fork and knife. I have it listed as number one because it for sure.
Okay.
I've been to a couple more games than Brian so far this season. We'll see if I can get him to catch up. But it's my favorite new thing. Number one, the Godzilla dog. Don't get any other hot dog if you're near that,
Is
the
it
one store.
$21.99?
I want to say it's 20 something. Yeah.
20 something. Yeah.
And it's worth it, even compared to the value dogs. If you go to that stand, there were people in front of me. I was like, what are you doing? You're doing it wrong. This is someone who normally gets the value dogs, like free, instead of just one. I'm like, no, you got to get the Godzilla. Look at it.
Yeah.
The first time this season when I went there, I got the medium one that like has half the toppings and isn't a foot long. And the guy next to me got the Godzilla. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
You were immediately regretting
And I
it.
literally said, I haven't touched this yet. Take it back. I haven't swiped my credit card. I
haven't given my palm yet.
Yeah. And like I looked at the menu and I was like, I don't even know what I was doing because it's like not double the price and you get way more than double the food.
Damn.
Okay, that's wonderful.
I'm very interested in hearing what beats that for you.
Number two and
number
one
for me.
Well, number two and number one are off the charts for me. Like all those are. Yeah. Number two, I'm gonna put the ice cream nachos. I loved them. I love the ice cream nachos. First of all, something's good when the line's long. So my wife went in line for us, and she was in line for a good maybe inning and a half. She's texting, is it worth it? I'm like, just stay in line. I know you don't care that much about the baseball game. Stay in line. And we got it, and it's they just on a plate, basically. It's a lump of soft serve, mixed chocolate and vanilla. And then 2 dipping sauces, chocolate and caramel. And then a bunch of, they look like communion hosts size-wise, and they're waffle cone style. And you dip with the flavor, like chocolate or caramel, with the ice cream. It's awesome. First of all, soft serve's amazing. I don't care. I think it's called Mr. Softy is the soft serve they have there. It's awesome regardless. Ice cream nachos are 100% worth staying in line for.
Have you met Dana, Kevin?
Yes.
Dana made friends, of course, with the people in front of us, with the people behind us.
Not a surprise.
Brian says she was gone for an inning and a half to get these ice cream nachos. It felt like 30 minutes because we told everyone what we were doing, and we were doing all these taste testings, and the people in front of us and the people behind us. People in front of us sent the one person to go get ice cream nachos and he was like, I can't do it. It's too long.
Yeah.
So then we were talking about it. Felt more like 30 minutes because everyone was talking about these ice cream nachos, these ice cream nachos. Brian, you got to tell the part of the story where she was in line for what felt like 30 minutes because all of her new friends were like, where's this crazy woman with the ice cream nachos? And then you got to finish the story on this part before then I weigh in on the food.
I don't even remember. I don't know what you're talking about.
She waited for 30 minutes. Brian calls it an inning and a half.
Yes,
I call 30 minutes.
So she gets up to the front. She gets to the front of the line. Yes, I do remember. Sorry. The woman in front of her gets her ice cream nachos. Dana gets up. She's been in line, let's say 30 minutes, inning and a half, whatever it is.
The woman in front of Dana, here's your ice cream nachos.
Yep. And then they go, and then the person goes, the machine's broken.
Oh.
And Dana goes, and I give her a lot of credit here. She did not walk away. She said, broken like for the night? Or she said something, and the woman gave her the weirdest response. Do you remember what it was, Jim?
She goes, it's down for maintenance 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and
but she said something before that. Yeah,
and then the woman said, some people would wait.
Oh, some people would wait. Dana was like,
yeah,
I'm waiting.
I am some people.
So she waited 5 minutes. It turned out to be 3. She brought us ice cream nachos. They're incredible. We let the person in front of us try because the guy didn't end up getting him. He went to the kids club and came back with kids hats instead of ice cream.
Could you imagine? Nachos. Could you imagine, man?
If Dana had come back with kids club hats, I would have been pissed. So ice cream nachos is number 2 for me.
Everyone tried it around us. Yep. We shared. This was before July 4th because on July 4th, I saw numerous people who were at that ball game crumbling up their waffle ice cream cone in dipping. And it was really good. Soft serve. I don't remember. Did it come in the hat?
No. I thought it was too. I don't think it comes in a hat. I think it just came on a plate.
And I didn't even think of this until right now because I did read a few articles researching for this. Yep. And the wafers were different too. And I think in the article that I read, it came in a bowl, and ours came in neither the collectible hat or the bowl. It came on
It came on a plate. It was weird.
Was it on a plate? I think it was in like the same tray as like the fries and stuff.
This is what happens when
so many people
when
want
they need
it.
to mass produce it that it
Yeah,
waters
they
down
ran
the
out of
product.
everything else. And the wafers were different. They were either not chocolate or more like waffle cone or vice versa. I don't remember.
They were more like waffle cone. Yeah.
Absolutely delicious. I probably had that second.
All right. Number one, I think, although you said Sumo Dog. So this is a cheat because it's not new this year, but it's new enough. And Jim waited in line for an inning and a half for this. It's Moto Pizza.
Okay.
Moto Pizza is Detroit style pizza. So for New York people, they're going to be like, that's not pizza. You know, they're going to get mad because it's more Chicago deep dish.
Mm-hmm.
I think Detroit, the difference is they put a layer on top of sauce. We had a pepperoni and a hot honey. What was it?
I might have called it the Moto, but I don't. They called it something. It was spicy sausage, pepperoni, hot honey. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and both were unbelievably good.
So I have some things to say about this too.
Of course.
Because we mapped all this out, and then like top of the second, bottom of the second, I was like, I'm gonna go because we were nowhere near. There's only one Moto Pizza. You can get the ice cream nachos a bunch of different places. Well, some at least. The Godzilla only the one place. The wings a couple places at least. I said, I'm going to go get the Moto Pizza. And Brian was like, Kevin, you say you've met Dana. Have you met Brian? Brian was like, it's going to be so far away. You're going to stand in line for so long. I was like, yeah, that's why I'm going now. Because it's right at the beginning of the game. I got there, I think it was the second inning, and I took a picture. I got a picture of it. It says, sold out of the crab pizza. And then the very next day, I got to the game early or maybe on time, and I meant to go straight to Moto Pizza because my guess is they didn't have it at all, is my guess. Because I was there in the second inning. And they were already sold out. And I was like, oh, man. And then I was like, well, I didn't look to see if they had it in stock before I got in this incredibly long line. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple pizzas. And maybe apparently this is not new information to me. I'm a foodie because I love pizza. And I was blown away by both of them. Brian and I were like going like this. Okay, now switch, now switch. Okay, now switch. And I was like, this one's better. Switch. And I was like, nope, this one's better. And then we switched. And I was like, no, it's definitely this one that's better.
We were so happy.
It was so good.
God, I'm getting the vibes from both of you. The best part is that the Mariners won both games 1-0, which means
we went to one of the 1-0s. So the other one was Royals, and it was like 5.
You said we won, we lost. But it's okay.
Oh, we did lose. We lost 3-2.
Because I'm not a TikToker about Seattle sports.
You guys went 1-1.
Yeah, we went 1-1. They lost 3-2.
It was a very exciting game. When we lost the lead Thursday, was Thursday the first game?
Yeah.
When we lost the lead, the Seattle sports TikToker that I was with was like, "This game's awful. This game's so bad."
That's
and I was like, I mean, it's very exciting. We're trying all these foods. We're shoving and then meeting these new friends and then it got very exciting, like the 8th or 9th, when it looked like we might come back. And it was very exciting, and the fireworks were really good. If not that it's the topic or whatever, but if
so, I don't know. Jim might disagree.
I couldn't believe how many people left. I was like, but it's fireworks. You know, it's fireworks because they've been announcing, and you're literally already here.
Yeah, and you paid the money, or didn't.
Yeah. When I said this to some people, they said
did.
a bunch of people might be trying to catch a ferry because there's a ferry time right now. And sometimes people need to catch a ferry. And I was like, that's fine. And I even felt better for the people who were leaving mid fireworks. Who does that? At least they saw some fireworks as opposed to like, you're already here. You're already sitting down. There's fireworks coming up. Leave before even one goes off. So,
Yeah. My last question for both of you is, this has happened. This is a product of the past couple years of baseball games because of the pace of game. The games go fast. And so if you spend time in the concession line, you're missing, like, you could miss a third of the game. And imagining, thank goodness you guys had multiple people. Sounds like multiple people made multiple trips. How do you feel about the games being short? Because concessions are a part of the game, and you're missing out because you have to stand in line for an inning and a half for ice cream nachos and 5 more minutes for maintenance issues.
I've never mapped out concessions ever in my life before. The first Mariner game I went to was with Brian, and he did take me on a tour of the facility, which was awesome.
That means we walked around the stadium.
That's what I said. I've tried to pay that forward anytime I go to the ballpark for when it's a first time at that ballpark, not even first time at a ball game, but first time at that ballpark. I try to, let's take a lap and I'll show you like the cool things, because there's cool things at the stadium. I never in my entire life have mapped out concessions other than recently, and I'm going to never not do it again. I'm going to like plan out what I want. I usually just end up getting a hot dog and whatever, like drinks are right there. And like, I've been to enough games in the past 2 or 3 years where I know where the drinks are that I want to go, but I've never mapped out the food, and I probably won't ever, even if it's just in my brain, map out where I'm going to go. I have something else to say on it, but do you have any other comments first, Brian, on Kevin's question before I say something?
I agree with you, actually. This experience of trying different things, I usually just get food before and I sit. So like, the game we went to on the 4th of July, I got the curry before the game started. I sat down. I didn't leave my seat for 9 innings. That's kind of how I watch baseball. So a shorter game is better I like the pace. I think it's a good change for baseball. But I am like, the Moto pizza and the ice cream nachos have altered me a little bit, where I'm like, I might give up an inning for those. They're so good. So yeah, I'm with Jim.
So when I say I mapped it out, I like actually mapped it out. I go to events, all the different sports, and I'm not good at knowing where the sections are. And we had some conversation about where we wanted to sit, because the sun's going to be in our face, or we don't want to be here, too shady. And I haven't talked to you about this because I haven't had enough time with you of late, Brian. But what's the deal with center field? I swear those seats were in center field. I also asked ChatGPT, and it's like, yeah, these seats are center field. And I was like, well, we're not sitting there. So I guess.
Jim tried to buy seats in left field bleachers. And I said we should sit in the center field bleachers.
But you're dying. There's no shade. I'm going to AT&T Park in a suite tomorrow, and I just like don't think it's going to be as good. I've done it we do this every year with the law firm.
That's awesome.
And the food is like it's sweet food, so it's not necessarily like the ballpark specialties. I kind of just want to venture out, and
you might need to.
I might need to map it out.
That's the best ballpark in baseball.
That's what you need to do. Map it out. Plan it out. Jim, because you don't want to leave for something that's not worth it, right? Just like because to your point, like the games are quicker. Figure out if there's 1, 2, or 3 things that's worth leaving for, and then figure out, don't go right when you should have gone left, because it'll just be more time.
Yeah. Although I don't care about the Giants, so maybe I'll just get lost. And
it's perfect time.
I don't know. Yeah.
Perfect time. All right. Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me on. See you guys later.